I invite you to join me in a minute of silence, not only for those who lost their lives, those who survived the horrific tragedy of the MV Barima, and those who continue to suffer, and a nation that is grieving equally. Our minute starts now. Honorable members, I ask that you allow for order in the National Assembly. Mr. Clerk, you may proceed with the agenda.
Messages from the President.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members. We have a message from His Excellency, the President. I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs to read the message from His Excellency, the President. I'll take 5 minutes. Honorable Attorney General, I'll take a 5-minute suspension and
Ejelan Ender! 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 Ejelan Ender!
Honorable members, I declare this fifth sitting of the 13th Parliament of the National Assembly of the 13th Parliament of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to be duly constituted and in session. The clerk will lead us in prayers.
Almighty God, we who are here present, do humbly beseech thee to guide us in all our consultations, so that we may together build a land where knowledge is free, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, and where words come from the depth of truth. Grant us, O God, thy aid and guidance, so that we may deal justly with the several causes that come before us, laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and personal preferences, so that the result of our counsels may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion, the preservation of justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the President, and the peace and prosperity of Guyana. Grant us, O God, the vision so to lead, that all the people of this fair land may enter into that state of brotherhood and unity, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Honorable members, at this time, though it is not sufficient, it is necessary. I invite you to join me in a minute of silence, not only for those who lost their lives, those who survived the horrific tragedy of the MV Barima, and those who continue to suffer, and a nation that is grieving equally. Our minute starts now. Honorable members, I ask that you allow for order in the National Assembly. Mr. Clerk, you may proceed with the agenda.
Messages from the President.
Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members. We have a message from His Excellency, the President. I now invite the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs to read the message from His Excellency, the President. I'll take 5 minutes. Honorable Attorney General, I'll take a 5-minute suspension and
Ejelan Ender! 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 Ejelan Ender!
Thank you. Members, please be seated. Honorable Attorney General. Honorable members of the opposition, again, I appeal to you, displays in the assembly are not permitted, another breach, and I ask that you allow the Honorable Attorney General to read the message from His Excellency, the President. AG? Go ahead. Honorable Attorney General.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Clerk of the National Assembly, Honorable members of the National Assembly, members of the media, fellow Guyanese. Are you hearing me, sir?
Attorney General, you may proceed.
Assembly, Clerk of the National Assembly, honorable members of the National Assembly, members of the media, fellow Guyanese. The Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana provides at Article 67 the following. The President may send a message to the National Assembly, and any such message shall be read at the first convenient sitting of the Assembly after it is received by the Prime Minister or any other minister designated by the President. I hereby avail myself of the prerogative conferred upon me by Article 67(2) of the Constitution to send this message to the National Assembly concerning the tragic loss of lives arising from the sinking of the motor vessel Marima, a tragedy that has brought profound grief to our nation. On Saturday night, the 18th of July 2026, the motor vessel Marima, having earlier departed Georgetown on its scheduled voyage to Port Kaituma, is believed to have capsized at sea at point located at 7 degrees 28 minutes and 12.8 seconds north latitude and 58 degrees 23 minutes and 26.6 seconds west longitude. By every account presently available, the vessel went under very quickly, leaving little time for crew and passengers to adopt life-saving measures. Within moments, countless lives were thrown into murky waters of the sea. A tragedy of unimaginable proportion ensued. Our nation today bleeds from the calamitous loss of many of its sons and daughters. No word can truly capture the depth of grief that has descended upon our country. This tragedy has shaken our republic to its very foundation. It has left an ache in every community, in every home, and in every heart. It is a wound that we will carry together, and one that history will forever record among the greatest sorrows of our nation. Upon receiving word of the disaster, the government immediately launched the largest search, rescue and recovery operation in Guyana's maritime history. Aircraft took to the skies, boats from every available agency and from private citizens hurried to the scene. Rescue teams worked relentlessly through darkness, rough seas, and adverse conditions. That operation has continued without interruption until this very moment. It continues through the extraordinary efforts of hundreds of brave men and women. 76 persons have been rescued, while 73 bodies have thus far been recovered. Tragically, some passengers remain unaccounted for. Simultaneously, extensive arrangements were established for the identification of survivors and those who perished, while shelter, medical care, transportation, and every possible form of assistance were mobilized to comfort anxious families and support those who survived this terrible ordeal. The rescue, relief, and humanitarian response became a national undertaking. It represented Guyana at its finest. It brought together the expertise, commitment, compassion of government agencies, discipline services, regional authorities, volunteers, civil society, faith-based organizations, private businesses, and ordinary citizens united in a Herculean effort to save lives and comfort and support those affected. Despite these remarkable and selfless efforts, the magnitude of the tragedy has left countless families bearing immeasurable burden of grief. Our hearts are especially with them. I once again extend our deepest condolences to every family and every individual that has suffered unimaginable losses. We mourn with you. We grieve beside you. Your pain has become the nation's pain. To those who survived this horrific ordeal, we know that survival itself carries its own burden. The memories of that dreadful night may remain with you for years to come. You are not alone. Your country stands beside you. To the families still waiting for news of loved ones, we understand the anguish of every passing hour. We know that uncertainty is among the greatest of human torments. I give this Parliament and the nation my solemn assurance that we shall not rest until every possible effort has been exhausted to account for every passenger who was on board that vessel. This tragedy has also revealed the extraordinary character of the Guyanese people. I wish to express the profound gratitude of a grateful nation to every individual and organization that answered the call to serve. Our appreciation extends to the officers and ranks of the Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard, the Guyana Police Force, our doctors, nurses, and emergency medical personnel, members of the Guyana Fire Service, every cabinet member and dedicated staff of their respective ministries, regional administrations, local government bodies, members of this honorable house, private sector organization that supplied vessels, equipment, fuel, food, accommodation, and logistical assistance, members of the religious community who provided spiritual comfort, volunteers, especially our fisherfolk, who were among our first responders, who selflessly went out in the dead of night and in perilous waters, and the countless citizens whose acts of kindness and compassion reflected the best of us coming together. The Cooperative Republic of Guyana is deeply indebted to them. We are equally grateful to our international partners whose solidarity has strengthened us during this painful period. I wish to record our sincere appreciation to the armed forces of French Guyana, to the government and people of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago for the personnel and specialized equipment they dispatched, and to the Federative Republic of Brazil for the invaluable support provided to the recovery effort. We are likewise thankful for all the many expressions of solidarity and offers of assistance extended by our sister CARICOM nations and friends across the international community. Your solidarity has reminded us that even in our darkest hours, Guyana does not stand alone. To the people of Guyana, I offer my heartfelt thanks. Across our country, candles have been lit. Churches, mandirs, and mosques have echoed with prayers. Communities have gathered in silent reflection. Children have written messages of hope. Families have embraced strangers as though they were relatives. These acts remind us that although tragedy can wound a nation, compassion has the power to heal it. The outpouring of love and solidarity from across Guyana has provided a source of strength in the midst of our sorrows. But beyond the immediate response and the comforting words offered at this moment of grief, there remains continuing duty to stand with those who have suffered and to support them in the difficult days ahead. The government remains fully committed to providing sustained material, financial, psychological and emotional support to the families of those who perished and to those who survived. Our responsibility to these families does not end with recovery operation. It will continue for as long as necessary. We shall walk with them through their grief, assist them in rebuilding their lives, and ensure that they never cease this burden, they never face this burden alone. This is why, as part of the government's response to this tragedy, I have announced the HEART Initiative, a program of material, moral, and emotional support for survivors and the families of those who loved lost ones. Through this initiative, the survivors and families of the victims will receive humanitarian assistance, including psychological support, trauma counseling, social services, spiritual guidance, and other interventions at helping those affected begin the difficult journey toward healing and recovery. Separately, I've invited the distinguished Caribbean jurist and former Attorney General and Minister of Investment and Foreign Trade of Belize, Mr. Iman Harrison Courtine, to assist in developing the modalities for financial assistance to the survivors and the bereaved families. I wish to emphasize that this assistance in no way should be viewed as compensation. Honorable members, our immediate priority throughout the past week has rightly been the search, rescue, and recovery mission. But as work continues, another solemn responsibility now confronts us. The people of Guyana deserve answers. Family deserve answers. History demands answers. I therefore assure this House and the nation that the government will leave no stone unturned in determining the full circumstances that gave rise to this catastrophe. This will be done not only to answer the many questions weighing heavily on the minds and hearts of our people, but also to ensure that such a tragedy is never repeated. Accordingly, I have announced the establishment of an independent commission of inquiry comprising persons of international standing, unquestioned integrity, and recognized and respected expertise in maritime safety, accident investigations, and disaster management. The members of the commission are Justice Godfrey Philip Smith of Belize, CARICOM High-Level Representative for Law and Criminal Justice, and an ad hoc Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Court of Appeal, who will serve as chair of the commission. In maritime safety, accident, and maritime law. Rear Admiral retired Hayden Pickard of Trinidad and Tobago, a distinguished professional with decades of experience in maritime operations and maritime security. The Commission will be granted broad and warranted mandate to establish the facts and examine every relevant circumstance, identify any shortcomings or failures, recommend appropriate accountability where warranted, and propose reforms that will strengthen the safety of our maritime transportation system. The remit of the Commission includes establishing the full circumstances surrounding the tragedy, including the causes and all other factors relating to the loading of the vessel, the boarding of passengers, conditions on board, the capsizing and sinking of MV Marima, and any other related matters. Reviewing comprehensively all aspects of the search and rescue and recovery operations, including the adequacy, coordination, and effectiveness of the response by all agencies and stakeholders involved. Evaluating the extent to which applicable laws, regulations, standards, and operating procedures governing ferries were complied with. Determining whether any acts of negligence, misconduct, dereliction of duty, or other failures by any individual, entity, or institution contributed to or caused the disaster. Inspecting the condition and maintenance history of the vessel, including its seaworthiness. Analyzing the influence of weather, sea conditions, tide, currents, navigation, communication, and other environmental or operational factors that may have contributed to the incident. Appraising the competence, qualification, training, and conduct of the vessel's master and crew, including compliance with established maritime safety and emergency procedures. Scrutinizing passenger management, including embarkation procedures, manifest preparation, the possible overcrowding of the vessel, the storage of cargo, the availability and use of life-saving equipment, and the adherence to passenger safety requirements. Recommending any legislative, regulatory, institutional, and operational reforms, together with any other measures necessary to strengthen maritime safety, improve emergency preparedness and response, and reduce the likelihood of similar tragedies occurring in the future. The truth must be established. The lessons must be learned. The reforms must be implemented. And where failures, negligence, or wrongdoing are identified, accountability must follow. That is the duty we owe to those whose lives were taken, to those who survived this terrifying ordeal, to the families who continue to mourn, and to the people of Guyana. As we seek answers, pursue accountability, and work to prevent such a tragedy from ever occurring again, we must also recognize that there are wounds that only time, compassion, and faith can help to heal. In moments such as these, our faiths become our anchor. It's my prayer that the Creator of the universe will continue to surround every grieving family with His comforting presence. Grant strength to those in the ongoing recovery efforts and provide healing to our wounded nation. I urge every Guyanese to continue lifting our country in prayer. Pray for the bereaved. Pray for the survivors. Pray for those who are still missing. Pray for those who continue the difficult work of recovery. And pray for Guyana. Finally, I appeal to every member of this honorable House, and indeed to every citizen, not to allow this tragedy to become a source of division among us. Let it instead become a moment that forges a stronger, a more compassionate, and a more united Guyana. In responding to this tragedy, we must therefore look beyond the immediate pain and recognize the deeper test before us, not only of our institution, but our collective spirit as a people.
Honorable members of the opposition, honorable members of the opposition, I'm calling on you to take your seats. Honorable members of the opposition, Attorney General, you may continue. Continue, AG.
In responding to this tragedy, we must therefore look beyond the immediate pain and recognize the deeper test before us, not only of our institutions, but our collective spirit as a people. Disasters test the strength of nations. They reveal not merely what we possess, but who we are. The greatness of a nation is measured not only by its prosperity, but by how it responds when confronted by overwhelming sorrow. In the face of this heart-wrenching tragedy, our response must be greater unity, not greater division. The pain we share today transcends our differences. At a time when so many families are carrying an unbearable burden of grief, the greatest tribute we can offer to those we have lost is to stand together in unity, in concern, and in compassion. Let this tragedy not become a moment that pulls us apart, but rather one that brings us closer. Not an instrument for recrimination, but one remembered for the strength of our solidarity. One through our sorrow and beyond. In our darkest hour, unity must be our refuge, our strength, and our pathway towards healing. Today, Guyana grieves. Tomorrow, Guyana will heal. And together, united in faith, compassion, and resolve, Guyana will rise. May God Almighty bless the souls of those who have departed from us. May He comfort those who mourn. May He protect those who continue the search. And may He forever bless our beloved Republic of Guyana. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General. On behalf of the National Assembly, I express our appreciation to His Excellency the President for his message, not only of concern, but of action, and his commitment to working to ensure not only the families, but a nation heals. Mr. Clerk.
Announcements by the Speaker.
Honorable members, we have suffered a horrific tragedy. And on your behalf, and on my behalf and the staff, we extend to all those who are suffering, who have lost lives, again, our sympathies and condolences. Mr. Clerk.
Presentation of petitions, presentation of papers and reports, etc.
Honorable members, I present to the Assembly the annual report of the Public Accountability and Oversight Committee for the year 2025. I also present the minutes of the Committee of Selection, which was held on the 5th of June, 2026. Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. Use the podium, Minister. Minister, use the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise, sir, to present to this Honourable House the following papers, reports, and other documents. 1. The audited financial statements of the Dependents Pension Fund for the year ended 31st December 2024. 2. The annual report of the National Insurance Scheme for the year 2024. 3. The annual report of the Guyana Oil Company for the year 2024. 4. The annual report of the Guyana Securities Council for the year 2025. 5. Government Notice Number 2 of 2026 regarding notification receipts of all petroleum revenues paid into the Natural Resource Fund during the period from 1st April 2026 to 30th June 2026. 6. The annual report of the Natural Resource Fund for the year 2025. And in that regard, Mr. Speaker, permit me to acknowledge the presence in the visitors gallery this afternoon of the chairman of the board of directors of the Natural Resource Fund, Major General retired Joe Singh, member of the board of directors of the Natural Resource Fund, Mr. Dunstan Barrow, who is of course himself a former member of parliament and chairperson of the investment committee of the Natural Resource Fund, Ms. Shalisa Shaw. And permit me, sir, to place on record once again our government's and our country's strong appreciation of the outstanding work being done by these pioneers in the governance architecture of our Natural Resource Fund. Thank you very much. 7. Loan Agreement Number GYP1 dated January 22nd, 2026 between the Government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and Japan International Cooperation Agency for an amount up to Japanese yen 5,242 million. The purpose of this agreement is to finance the water supply improvement project. 8. A mandatory agreement dated February 3rd, 2026, transaction number APO 89490XX between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Export-Import Bank of the United States of America, Exim Bank, signed on June 27, 2025. 9. Supplemental Agreement Number 2, dated February 3rd, 2026, between the Government of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Bank of China Limited in respect of financing for the new Demerara River Bridge project. 10. Deferred Payment Agreement dated April 15, 2026, between the Ministry of Finance acting on behalf of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the China Camsi Engineering Company Limited for the amount of RMB yuan 190,953,000. The purpose of this agreement is to finance the new Bartica Hospital project. 11. Loan Agreement Number 10 ORGY dated April 27, 2026 between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Caribbean Development Bank for an amount of $50 million. This is the second environmental sector policy-based loan concluded between Guyana and the Caribbean Development Bank. 12. Facility Agreement Number CIGS Guyana 002-002-2731 dated June 12, 2026 between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the Banco Santander SA for an amount of euros 61,430,289 euros and 84 cents. This loan will finance the design and build of the new arrival terminal at the Chedi Jagan International Airport. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister Ashley Singh. Honorable Minister Singh, on behalf of the Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, who is online and we are unable to hear her at this time, please present the reports that stand in her name.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Honourable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, I have the honour of presenting to this Assembly the following papers and reports. 1. Annual Report of the Ombudsman for the year 2025. 2. Audited Financial Statements of the Public and Police Service Commission for the year ended 31st December 2024. 3. Annual Report of the Public and Police Service Commission for the year 2024. And 4. Audited Financial Statements of the National Parks Commission for the years ended 31st December 2011 and 2012, respectively. Thank you very much, sir.
Minister. Honorable members, there are 16 questions on today's order paper. 5 of these are for written replies and 11 for oral replies. Question number 1 is in the name of the Honorable Member Terence Campbell and is for the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Question number 2 is in the name of the Honorable Member Sherrod Duncan and is for the Honorable Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance. Question number 3 is in the name of the Honorable Member Ms. Amanza Walton Desir and is for the Honorable Minister of Human Services and Social Security. Question number 4 is in the name of the Honorable Member Ms. Amanza Walton Desir and is for the Honorable Minister of Human Services and Social Security. And question number 5, also in the name of the Honorable Member Ms. Amanza Walton and is for the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. The answer to these questions have been received and have therefore, in accordance with our standing orders, been circulated. For oral replies, question number 6. Honorable members, I am presenting the oral questions on the order paper, and those who have oral questions are asked to take their seats so that you may ask of the Minister. The Honorable Member Mr. Sherrod Duncan, you may ask your question. The Honorable Member Mr. Sherrod Duncan. Question number 7. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Sherrod Duncan, I invite the Honorable Member Sherrod Duncan to ask his question. Question number 8. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Sherrod Duncan, and it's for the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. Honorable Member Mr. Duncan, you may ask your question. Question number 9. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Terence Campbell, I invite the Honorable Member Mr. Campbell to ask his question. Question number 10. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Terence Campbell, I invite the Honorable Member to ask his question. Question number 11. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Shana Femi Corlett, I invite the Honorable Member to ask her question. Question number 12. In the name of the Honorable Member Mr. Shana Femi Corlett, I invite the Honorable Member to ask her question. Question number 13, also in the name of the Honorable Member, Ms. Femi Corlett, I invite her to ask her question. Question number 14, in the name of the Honorable Member, Ms. Tabitha Sarabo Hali, I ask you to ask your question. Question number 15, in the name of the Honorable Member, Ms. Tabitha Sarabo Hali, I invite the Honorable Member to ask her question. Question number 16. Also in the name of the honorable member, Mr. Bita Sarabo Hali. Honorable member, you may ask your question. Mr. Clerk.
Statements by ministers, including policy statements.
Honorable Prime Minister. You may take the podium if you like. Yes, you can. Right there, you can do it from there too. That is the podium. We are now at statement by minister, and I invite the Honorable Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana to make a statement.
Thank you, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Hali, could you stop? Ms. Hali, can you stop banging on that desk?
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. Honorable members of the National Assembly, I rise to place before the National Assembly an account concerning the tragedy involving the MV Barima, the search, rescue, and recovery operations that followed, and the support provided to the affected families. Mr. Speaker, I join you and other members of the House in expressing our collective condolences to the bereaved families and to express our commitment to the comfort and support of the survivors of this tragedy. Mr. Speaker, on Saturday the 18th of July 2026, at 15:20 hours, MV Barima departed the Transports and Harbors Department Goods Wharf with passengers and cargo for Port Kaituma. At 22:43, the Air Traffic Control Center to Mary received distress signal. At 23:01, the Georgetown Lighthouse received information from the Air Traffic Control Center to Mary. At 23:03, the Georgetown Lighthouse informed the Maritime Rescue Cohort Center, who then informed the Guyana Defense Force, the Coast Guard, the Guyana Police Force, and other stakeholders. At 23:11, Coast Guard deployed GDFS 1030 from Pomeroon Floating Base. And at 23:25, the MRCC assembled the National Search and Rescue Committee. At 23:40, the Coast Guard deployed 2 vessels from One Belt Base. On Sunday the 19th, at 02:27 hours, 5 persons were rescued. At 4:14, 19 persons were rescued. And at 05:13, 53 persons were rescued. Mr. Speaker, a total of 77 persons were rescued, and one of the persons rescued subsequently died. Search and rescue and recovery operations continued over the period Sunday the 20th, 2026 to present. On the 20th of July 2026, the MV Barima was found resting on the seabed, approximately 31 nautical miles northwest of the point of the initiated distress signal that was communicated by the Air Traffic Control Tower. This was based on the report made by Mr. Harry Singh, a fisherman, and the assistance provided by local fisherfolk. ExxonMobil Guyana, Vichy, and Sealand Survey vessel Gilligan Island in confirming the vessel's exact position. The Ministry of Health and the Guyana Police Force subsequently established joint protocols for the processing, transportation, and storage of the deceased, who we had started to recover from the murky waters. Identification procedures were to take place at the Saudi Hospital the maritime, Mr. Speaker, as I continue, the Ministry of Health and Gas Resource subsequently established joint protocols for the processing, transportation, and storage of the deceased. Identification procedures were to take place at Sunny Hospital. The Maritime Rescue Coordination Center remain operational, and the search and rescue effort continues. The public was advised that full recovery aid was being pursued. The government of France has provided 15 divers who joined the local team on the site. It was also learned that recovery money was taken to charity for processing by the Health and Police Authority, and relatives would be invited to identify their loved ones at Sunny Hospital. At 1400 hours on the 24th of July, 15 vessels were deployed in the area. The designated short area has been expanded by an additional 400 square miles, extending to Running Point. French and local divers continue on the water operation, while residents on the so-called education of the cover money at the Sunny Hospital. With the Speaker, state and private sector vessels continue operations throughout the expanded area, supported by aerial surveillance. Aircraft also transfer directors to the Sunny Hospital for system identification. The Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony and his team, remain at the hospital and began facilitating the release of identified bodies to the relatives. Regional authorities remain engaged with families to facilitate arrangements for employment. All stakeholders are reminded that the government bodies want to be transferred immediately to the custody of the Guyana Police Force at the designated facility of the Charity River Dam, in accordance with the established recovery and identification protocols. His Excellency President Dr. Mohamed Ibrahim announced 3 days of national loading. At 1400 hours on the 22nd of July, government reported that support assets from Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and the Brazilian Navy had arrived in the Guyana's water and was proceeding to the operational area. At that time, 90 vessels and aircraft were involved. Technical teams began assessing the capsized vessel to determine the safest and most effective method of righting it and improving access for the diving teams. Smaller vessels deployed by the Guyana Defense Force, Coast Guard, and the Maritime Administration Department were conducting searches further inland. During the period of national mourning, all flags were directed to be flown at half-mast. Wednesday the 22nd was declared a National Day of Prayer, with a national service of prayer and reflection held at the Kingston Seawall. Nights of reflection and prayer were also announced for Port Kaitum on the 22nd of July and Mabaruma on the 24th of July. The government wishes to thank all stakeholders involved in the search and rescue and recovery operations. Mr. Speaker, in the final operational update issued on the 24th of July, the government advised that the coordinated search and recovery operation remain active throughout the day. The designated search area has been expanded by an additional 32 square miles westward to Winey Point and eastward to Adventure, while aerial surveillance flights continued. 5 dives, each between 45 and 60 minutes, were completed on the 24th of July. During one of those dives, one body was recovered from within the MV Barima. This brought the total number of bodies recovered to 73, of whom 69 had been positively identified. Mr. Speaker, this tragedy has caused immeasurable grief across our country. Our government extends its deepest condolences to every family that has lost a loved one and remains committed to supporting those affected. Our government also records its gratitude to the Guyana Defense Force Coast Guard, the Maritime Administration Department, the Guyana Police Force, the Ministry of Health, regional authorities, local fisherfolk, private vessel operators, aviation personnel, divers, medical teams, and all other stakeholders who contributed to the response. We are equally grateful for the assistance provided by France, Trinidad and Tobago, and Brazil. Mr. Speaker, the Maritime Rescue Cohort Center remain operational throughout the period from Saturday the 19th to now, from Saturday the 18th to now, and the search, rescue, and recovery effort continue with the commitment that every reasonable effort would be exhausted to recover bodies from this tragic incident. Government of Guyana is committed to providing tangible support for survivors and the families of the victims, and has since established a register of survivors through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security Survivors Support List, and a register of the deceased and their families, again through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security Family Support List for the MV Barima victims. Our government is covering all funeral expenses associated with the victims of this tragic incident, including transportation of families, the housing of families, the communities where interment are taking place, all in keeping with the wishes of the families. Mr. Speaker, a commission of inquiry was established comprising persons who are internationally recognized for their expertise in maritime safety, accident investigation, and disaster management under the Commission of Inquiries Act of Guyana. The inquiries and investigation under the Guyana Shipping Act are done under the authority of the Minister, and therefore the Independent Commission of Inquiry was deemed a better way to establish a commission of inquiry into this incident. This was established by the President under the Commission of Inquiry Act, Laws of Guyana, Chapter 1903, due to the magnitude of the MV Barima tragedy, where many lives were lost and many families and the people of Guyana need answers. Through this inquiry, through this Independent Commission of Inquiry, the truth must be established. Failures, wrongdoing, and acts of negligence must be identified, and persons must be held accountable for their actions. Mr. Speaker, we've already established that many passengers who were on the boat was not listed on the manifest. Through an analysis done utilizing the CCTV camera at the Goods Wharf, we've established that 179 passengers and crew on the vessel, whereas the manifest only listed 133 passengers and crew. Mr. Speaker, of the 76 survivors who were rescued, 35 were listed on the passenger manifest. 45 was not listed. And Mr. Speaker, of the 73 deceased persons whose bodies were recovered, only 37 were listed on the manifest and 35 not listed. Mr. Speaker, we still have 30 persons who are deemed missing, and unfortunately, with our best efforts, we were unable thus far to recover their remains. We ask, Mr. Speaker, that the souls of those we lost in this tragic incident be blessed and be allowed to rest in eternal peace. We ask that their families be comforted, and we will continue to work with the survivors as they navigate through this traumatic experience. May the families who have suffered loss find strength and comfort, and may the souls of those who perish rest in peace. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And I thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister, on behalf of all of those who hear your compassion. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, I received a number of requests from members of parliament, from all sides, to make presentations on the personal explanations. I will use the prerogative of the chair to invite the leader of the opposition to give a 5 minutes address on this, on the condolences he would like. The leader of the opposition. The leader of the opposition. Thank you, Mr. Clerk.
Request for leave to move the adjournment of the National Assembly on definite matters of urgent public importance.
Honorable members, I have received several requests to move the adjournment of the Assembly on definite matters of urgent public importance. The first, and I'm only allowed to put and consider one. The first one to be received is from the Honorable Member Terence Campbell. Honorable Member, I invite you to make a 2-minute presentation on your urgent matter of public importance. Honorable Member Campbell. Honorable Mr. Clerk, go ahead.
Motions relating to the business or sittings of the National Assembly and moved by Minister. Introduction of bills.
Honorable Attorney General, you can do it from your seat. Use the
Mr. Speaker, I present to the Assembly the Gaming Authority Bill of 2026, Bill number 12 of 2026, a bill intituled an act to provide for the licensing, regulation, supervision, taxation, and control of gaming, betting, and wagering activities in Guyana, to establish the Guyana Gaming Authority, to prescribe the standards for the operation of casino, gaming lounges, betting shops, betting shop agents, remote gaming platforms, and simulcast horse and hog racing, to regulate equipment, to promote responsible gaming and establish a responsible gaming fund, implementing anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism obligations in the gaming sector, to provide for the administrative penalties and enforcement measures and for connected purposes. And I move that the bill be read the first time.
Thank you, AG. Let the bill be read the first time.
Gaming Authority Bill 2026. Gaming Authority Bill 2026. Bill number 12 of 2026. Public business.
Honorable members, the Assembly will resolve itself into Committee of Supply to consider financial paper number 1 of 2026. The honorable members of the opposition I kindly ask that you give space so that the ministers answering and their staff can do so from the desks. You're not showing me that, Honorable Member Natasha Singh Lewis. You tasted the Privilege Committee before. Honorable members, the Assembly is now in Committee of Supply, and I invite the Honorable Prime Minister, and his staff to take us through the first item. Honorable Prime Minister, I want to suggest that you use one of the higher platforms with your staff. That's all. Yeah? Honorable Prime Minister, just give me a moment with the staff. One moment. Come. Honorable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Chairman, in accordance with Article 171(2) of the Constitution, I signify that Cabinet has recommended for consideration by the Assembly the motion for the approval of the proposal set out in Financial Paper Number 1 of 2026, supplementary estimates, advances made from the contingencies fund, current and capital, totaling $54,889,259,163 for the period ending 31 December 2026. And I now move the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. The motion is proposed. We will consider the paper as usual, and the items will be taken both from current and capital estimates, and in the order for which the minister is responsible. We now deal with item 1, Agency Code 02-023, Office of the Prime Minister, Chart of Account 2610600. And I propose the question that the sum stated on the capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. I now put the question that the sum stated on the Agency Code 02023, Chart of Account 2610600, stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister and the staff. And now I invite the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Minister of Agriculture and staff. Can I go on to the next item? Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency Code 21212, Ministry of Agriculture, Chart of Account 1301600 and Chart of Account 6321. The items standing both on the capital and current expenditure respectively stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated on the Agency Code 21-212, Chart of Account 1301600 and 6321, capital and current expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Honorable Minister and your staff. On this side. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the sum stated for Agency Code 31-312, Chart of Account 1404100, capital expenditure, Chart of Account 1405200, capital expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 31-312, Chart of Account 1404100, 1405200, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and your staff. I have mentioned before the Honorable Member, Ms. Amanza Walton, the banging on the desk. Ms. Nandrani, Honorable Member. I mentioned Ms. Femi. I again caution you about the banging. Honorable Member. Honorable members, I now turn your attention to Agency Code 34343, 34344, Chart of Account 280-2200, Capital Expenditure, Chart of Account 6255, Current Expenditure, and I propose the question that the sums stated herein stand part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sums stated for Agency Code 34-344 and 34-344, 34-343, Chart of Account 280-2200, Capital Expenditure, Chart of Account 6255, Current Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Honorable Minister. I now invite honorable members your attention to Agency Code 45-452, Ministry of Housing Development, Chart of Account 1903100, Capital Expenditure, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 45-452, Chart of Account 1903100, Capital Expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and your staff. We now turn our attention to Agency Code 47-474, Ministry of Health, Regional and Clinical Services, Chart of Account 6241, and I propose the question that the sum stated herein for current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency Code 47-474, Chart of Account 6241, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and your staff. Honorable members, I now turn your attention to Agency Code 51-517, Ministry of Home Affairs, Customs and Narcotics, Chart of Accounts 260-9200. And I propose the question that the sum stated herein on the capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. I now put a question that the sum stated for this agency code and chart of account capital expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Thank you, Minister Walron and staff. Honorable members, this completes consideration of all the items. I will now put the motion, which is that the Committee of Supply approve of the proposal set out in Financial Paper Number 1 of 2026, supplementary estimates, current and capital, totaling 58,889,259 $1,163 for the period ending 31st December 2026. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. The assembly will resume. Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with paragraph 2 of Article 171 of the Constitution, I signify that Cabinet has recommended the supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2020.
Honorable Minister, one moment, please. One moment. The report from the committee.
Mr. Speaker, I wish to report that the Committee of Supply has approved of the proposal set out in Financial Paper number 1 of 2026, and I now move that the Assembly doth agree with the committee in the said resolution. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, the question is that the Assembly doth agree with the committee in its resolution. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. This completes consideration of financial paper number 1 of 2026. We now move to the consideration of the appropriation bill. Honorable Prime Minister, the appropriation bill. You want to come up?
Mr. Speaker, with your move, Mr. Speaker, with your leave, I move the standing orders 13N and 54 be suspended to enable the supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 to be introduced at this stage.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, the question is that standing orders number 13N and 54 be suspended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance.
Mr. Speaker, in accordance with paragraph 2 of Article 171 of the Constitution, I signify that Cabinet has recommended the supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 for consideration by the National Assembly. And I now present the bill to the Assembly and move that it be read the first time. Thank you very much, sir.
Minister. Members, the question is that supplementary appropriation bill number 1 of 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 be read the first time. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read the first time.
Supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026.
Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 be read a second time.
The question, honorable members, is that supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Let the bill be read the second time.
Supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026.
Honorable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move, sir, that the supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 be read the third time and be passed as printed. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I put a question that supplementary appropriation number 1 of 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026 be read the third time and passed as printed. Those in favor say aye. Those in favor say aye.
Those against say no. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The motion is carried. Let the bill be read the third time.
Supplementary appropriation number 1 for 2026, Bill 2026, Bill number 11 of 2026.
Honorable members, we can proceed. We can proceed with the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026, published on the 4th of June 2026. I invite the Honorable Minister of Finance to take the high ground and move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I rise, sir, to move today.
Honorable Minister, would you like to go a little higher up and use by way of the honor? Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026, published on the 4th of June 2026, be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, small and medium-sized businesses have been the lifeblood of the Guyanese economy since time immemorial. The annals of our country's economic history have documented the role played by sole proprietorships and family-owned businesses in providing essential goods and services for decades, indeed, sir, for centuries. These small businesses, in addition to providing essential goods and services, have proven over the decades and centuries to be an essential source of economic livelihood for the men, women, and families of Guyanese men, women, and families throughout the economic history of our country. Some of those family-owned businesses, sir, a small number of them, managed to grow themselves out of their small size, managed to mobilize capital, both internally generated and also capital from external sources, and became the medium and larger sized businesses in our economy. Today, sir, the Guyanese economy is adorned with multiple examples of family-owned businesses that began as a small business some decades ago and today are some of the largest enterprises in our economic landscape. We can all think of examples of businesses that started as a small family-owned business and that today is a large enterprise. Additionally, sir, while some of those family-owned businesses were able to grow into becoming larger businesses, many were unable to do so. And history has recorded that amongst the greatest binding constraints preventing small family-owned businesses from growing into medium and larger sized businesses has been the constraint of access to financing. This has been widely documented. Over the years, Mr. Speaker, our government has implemented numerous initiatives aimed at ensuring improved and easier access to financing. And we have recorded tremendous success in this regard, not least as is reflected in the extremely strong growth in credit to the private sector that has been recorded over the years. Mr. Speaker, if we were to look at the manner in which credit to the private sector has grown, in addition to the fact that in the year 2025, credit to the private sector grew by 18%, credit to the private sector, Mr. Speaker, more than doubled since August 2020. And this doubling reflected itself across all sectors of the economy. We have also seen tremendous growth in micro-enterprise lending institutions like IPED, whose portfolio has grown tremendously. But we wish, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the historic constraint that arises from lack of access to financing be removed once and for all. And for that reason, we have developed the Guyana Development Bank Bill, a bill that seeks to establish a development bank that will provide loans, small loans to SMEs in Guyana, loans of up to $3 million Guyana dollars, free of interest and free of collateral. Loans that will help us, Mr. Speaker, to unleash a new wave of Guyanese entrepreneurship and entrepreneurialism in this Guyana's era of opportunity. The bill, sir, is a very simple bill. It seeks to establish the bank. It articulates the objectives of the bank. It outlines the governance and administrative architecture that the bank will have. It provides for the raising of capital by the bank, and it would be recalled, sir, that Budget 2026 provided a substantial sum of money to finance the establishment of the bill. It provides also, sir, for the accountability of the bank, including the preparation of annual reports, audited financial statements, etc. This bill, sir, is one that I imagine should enjoy the unanimous support of this Honorable House. And I now present the bill, Mr. Speaker, once again, and will be proposing at the appropriate time that it be passed. And I trust, sir, that notwithstanding the developments on the other side of the House, I trust, sir, that they will see the wisdom of supporting this bill, given the remarkable transformative impact that it will have on small businesses and entrepreneurs across the length and breadth of Guyana. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. The next person I have on my list is the Honorable Member Odessa Primus. Odessa Primus. Next person is the Honorable Member Lennox Schumann.
Sorry.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to lend my support to the very, very important development bank that which us as Indigenous peoples, having just concluded the National Two-Shows Council Conference, at which many, many Indigenous communities, Two-Shows and leaders gathered in this very same dome, asking for an opportunity to be integrated into the wider economy and to be part of Guyana's economic framework. Mr. Speaker, this piece of legislation in itself, this framework in itself, gives our Indigenous brothers and sisters the very same opportunity that they've been asking for. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how many people understand this, but the Amerindian Act in itself prevents Indigenous peoples from leveraging their lands for benefit. You cannot take the land to the bank, you can't take resources to the bank, and to a great extent it has excluded us from the economic framework and integration of Guyana. Mr. Speaker, I am very, very happy with the presentation by the Honourable Minister of Finance that now gives our people an opportunity. It gives them the creative space, the financial space to build their business and to generate wealth. Mr. Speaker, as you go across the country, you see all of these young people. They're so dynamic. They've got so many brilliant ideas. They want to participate. And what we are doing in this process of bringing this development bank to reality is to give all of those communities and all of those people an opportunity to meaningfully build their financial wealth. As the President had communicated to the nation on many, many occasions, what we want to do is to ensure every single Guyanese can participate in the economics of a growing economy, of a financial economy. And Mr. Speaker, I will say once again that what this bill has done, or what this bill will do, is that it will give every single person, not only Indigenous Guyanese, but every single Guyanese across the country, an opportunity to participate and to be part of that community. Mr. Speaker, it is a very short presentation. I wanted to lend my full and wholehearted support to this bill because I think it does so much for Indigenous brothers and sisters to give them access to critical finances that the coast has enjoyed for a long time. Now our people have an opportunity to participate. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I give my wholehearted support to my honourable colleague, Dr. Ashley Singh, Minister of Finance, and to this bill. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. Former Deputy Speaker, Lennox Schumann. The next person on my list is the Honourable Dr. Terence Campbell. Mr. Campbell, Honourable Member. I now move to the Honourable Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, Charles Ramson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In sharing my concern Mr. Speaker, we join with the entire nation in extending our condolence to the families and friends who have lost.
Honourable Minister, you may have to speak into the microphone.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I thank you very much. I rise in support of this Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026. And we join with the entire House and the nation in this difficult time, this difficult period, and extend our condolences to all of the families and friends for the tragedy that happened just a few days ago. Mr. Speaker, many times we speak about transformation that happens in the country. It's sometimes measured in kilowatts per hour. It's also measured by kilometers per road and barrels of oil and ounces of gold, etc. But today, this transformation that is going to be unlocked by the Guyana Development Bank is a quieter transformation. A transformation for the ordinary Guyanese. The business person, the fisherman in the Pomeroon, the carpenter in Linden, the craftsman in Lethem. For a long time, many people have had business ideas that they wanted to fund, and they could not get the opportunity for decades. And this is where the Guyana Development Bank creates a solution for the ordinary man. Now, incidentally, Mr. Speaker, this is a promise that was committed in the People's Progressive Party manifesto, something that we recognized with all of the support over the 5 years that have been given for businesses. This bank, Development Bank, is going to support all of the entrepreneurs, all of the people, the young people who have a business idea that they would like to advance. And many times when people go to get credit from banks, they are unable to get credit because they don't have collateral. Or sometimes the interest rate is so high because of the risk assessment, the risk profile, that they are unable to get loans at interest rates that allows them to support the loan installment. This Guyana-funded state bank by the government of Guyana allows for small loans that are interest-free to be supported by no collateral. And in an oil-producing country like Guyana, new oil-producing country like Guyana, over the decades, one of the problems that has plagued many oil-producing countries is the known resource curse. One of the symptoms of the resource curse is that there has been a reduction in entrepreneurship, mainly because of rent-seeking behavior, where opportunities would come from, let's say, in employment, higher paying jobs and employment, and people will go and take those jobs, taking away from the opportunity that they can have by creating a business. So this institution that is being created for the first time is an institution that is going to help the country in a major way. And that major way is going to help with the funding of our young entrepreneurs. Now, small and medium-sized enterprises are the backbone of any economy. And another problem that plagues our economy, and especially oil-producing economies, is economic diversification. And a lot of times when we have countries that depend on natural resources, those natural resources become the backbone of their economic revenue. When you have small and medium-sized enterprises that are funded, it allows for diversification, and it also helps with the inclusion. Areas where, because of their remoteness, like the hinterland, or other rural areas where financial institutions don't find a place, that it doesn't make financial sense to them to have a bank situated in that region. This Guyana Development Bank now solves that problem. So I'll use, for example, in Madia. Madia as a town does not have any financial institution where people can go and get loans so that they can fund their business. This is where, through a state intervention, this will allow those loans, the capital, to catalyze those economic and entrepreneurship. In addition, that employment will help to create employment. That entrepreneurship will help to create employment. And to address some of the concerns that are raised by the critics of this bill, which they say that is not flexible, that it's too flexible. For young banks like this, it requires the flexibility so that it can adjust to the situation and circumstances, to help it to be nimble enough to reflect the nimble situation in those areas where the business environment differs. And while this bill, where none of the members on the other side are willing to contribute towards their support for this bill will be remembered today as one of the most important bills because it changes the economic landscape for the entire country and for all of the people, especially young people, who get an opportunity to fund their businesses and their ideas and their dreams so that we can help to make Guyana a more vibrant and economically diversified and inclusive economy. I have the pleasure of supporting this bill, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport. The next speaker is Ms. Nadrani Singh. I now move on to the Honorable Member, Mr. Alistair Charlie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today in full support of the Guyana Development Bank, Bill number 5 of 2026, which seeks to establish the Guyana Development Bank as a statutory body dedicated to financing and supporting small and medium-sized enterprises throughout our country. At the outset, Mr. Speaker, permit me to commend the Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with the responsibility for finance and the People's Progressive Party civic government for bringing this important piece of legislation before this Honorable House. Mr. Speaker, this bill represents much more than the creation of another financial institution. It represents an investment in the dreams, talents, and entrepreneurial spirit of ordinary Guyanese. It demonstrates our government's commitment to ensuring that economic growth reaches every region, every village, every riverine, and every hinterland community, and every indigenous community across our country. For decades, access to finance has remained one of the greatest obstacles faced by small entrepreneurs. Many hardworking Guyanese possess excellent business ideas but cannot access affordable financing. This bill directly addresses that challenge by promoting the establishment and growth of small and medium-sized enterprises through loans, technical assistance, and other support mechanisms. Mr. Speaker, As an indigenous member of parliament, I wish to focus on this legislation's means for our First Peoples. For generations, indigenous communities have been entrepreneurs. We farmed, we fished, we hunted, we produced cassava products, craft, beautiful handicrafts, practice ecotourism, manage our forests sustainably, and traded across villages and regions. What has often been missing has been access to affordable capital. Mr. Speaker, our government has consistently demonstrated its commitment to indigenous economic empowerment through investments in village development, agriculture, infrastructure, education, ICT, renewable energy, and entrepreneurship. This bill builds upon those achievements because while roads, electricity, internet, and education create opportunities, access to finance enable people to seize them. Mr. Speaker, economic empowerment strengthens families, create jobs, keep children in school, and allow communities to prosper while preserving their culture and tradition. Mr. Speaker, this legislation is about confidence. Confidence in Guyanese entrepreneurs, confidence in indigenous businesses, confidence in our young people, confidence in our women, confidence in our farmers, confidence in our innovators, and confidence in our future. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, I give the Guyana Development Bank Bill number 5 of 2026 my strongest support, and I respectfully urge all honorable members of this House to support its passage. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Charlie. The Honorable Member David Hines, it's now your turn. He's not in his seat. I move to the Honorable Member, Mr. Zulfikar Ali, Minister of the Public Service.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members of this distinguished House, I rise today to speak and to give support to a bill that will see the establishment of a financial institution that will enable increased access to finance, support enterprise development, and create a pathway for genuine income and wealth generation for our Guyanese brothers and sisters. Mr. Speaker, what we are doing today is more than just a discussion about banking. It is a discussion about how we as a government, the People's Progressive Party government, ensure that the promise of economic growth reaches every Guyanese. And when I say every Guyanese, Mr. Speaker, I am referring to the small entrepreneur that has invested the majority of their savings for an idea that they believe in, to the single mother trying to expand, to the youths with visionary ideas that just needs nurturing, to our farmers seeking to add value to their output by investing in a small agro-processing venture, to our brothers and sisters who are disabled but want to establish a small business or invest in a business or enterprise that can see them earning on their own. Or simply, Mr. Speaker, a family striving to develop a business of their own. Mr. Speaker, since assuming the reins of government in 2020, the government led by His Excellency President Ali has presided over one of the most significant periods of economic expansion in Guyana's history. As we speak today, Guyana is attracting unprecedented levels of investment, major infrastructure projects are underway, new industries are emerging, and confidence in our economy continues to be strengthened. Mr. Speaker, this did not occur by accident, but rather by careful, deliberate, and prudent financial management of our economy, together with sound investments in social sectors that benefits all Guyanese. Mr. Speaker, the fact is our economy shows no sign of slowing down under a PPPC government. And as we continue to grow and expand, it is our duty as a government to be intentional about making sure that this growth is inclusive, productive, and broad-based. The ultimate objective, Mr. Speaker, is to ensure that growth improves lives, expands opportunities, creates wealth across communities, and provide pathway for citizens to participate meaningfully in the economy. Mr. Speaker, the Guyana Development Bank should not be judged only by how much money it disburses, but rather it is important to consider the impact of those disbursements that it will produce. When we talk about impact, Mr. Speaker, we are referring to how many jobs are created, how much lending have reached businesses operating outside of the traditional coastal communities, how many businesses are still thriving after receiving support. Mr. Speaker, the Development Bank Bill comes at an important moment. Guyana has the physical space, it has the infrastructure agenda, it has rising household income, it has tens of thousands of newly registered business, it has an emerging entrepreneurial class, but it also has a financing gap that, if it is left unresolved, Mr. Speaker, will limit who participate in the country's transformation. The Development Bank, Mr. Speaker, is intended to close that gap. It is an inclusion instrument because it reaches our first-time borrowers, women, youths, rural producers, and hinterland communities. The purpose of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is not simply to create a bank. It is to create a disciplined, accountable development finance platform that allows Guyanese enterprises to participate in the next stage of national growth. If we build it properly, Mr. Speaker, govern it rigorously, and measure it honestly, the Development Bank will help finance not only businesses, but a social contract of shared prosperity. I therefore, Mr. Speaker, commend the Development Bank Bill to this Honorable House. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Zulfikar Ali, Minister of the Public Service. Honorable Member, Dr. Andre Lewis. Honorable Member, Ms. Jurita Fernandes. Honorable Member, Mr. Zulfikar Mustafa, Minister of Agriculture.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support Bill 2026 of the Guyana Development Bank. Mr. Speaker, this bill will be a game changer to the small, medium-sized farmers in our country. Over the years, we have seen farmers have ideas, they have land, but more importantly, they're short of finance. Many times when they go to commercial banks, they hardly can get collaterals as securities. This here will help our small-scale farmers to invest, to up production, so that our country can be food secure. We know for a fact that we are working for Guyana to be not only be food secure, but also to be a country to be a producer of food. And this bill here, as I said, will be a game changer for the small farmers. It will be a game changer for the farmers in the hinterland. It will be a game changer for the fisher folks. It will be a game changer for the agro-processor. When you look at this bill comprehensively, this will help our small farmers and small agro-processors and small manufacturers to receive loans, to increase their businesses, and to increase production in our country. We know for a fact that today the entire landscape of Guyana is changing. We know for a fact also Guyana is leading the agriculture drive in CARICOM, and this will help Guyana to ramp up production to be the premier fruit producer in the Caribbean. So I'm happy that the PPP civic government is bringing this bill to this honorable house. This bill will help farmers, as I said, help the local, the small-scale farmers to push production to increase production and to ensure that we be a food secure nation. So, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to be a part of this government, and I commend this bill to the Honorable House. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister of Agriculture. Honorable Member, Mr. Manza Walton. Honorable Member, Mr. Duarte Hetzberger. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, the Honorable Susan Rodriguez.
Mr. Speaker, please allow me first of all to extend my condolences to the families of those who have lost loved ones in the MV Barima tragedy. Mr. Speaker, our hearts go out to those families. All of Guyana grieves along with those families. And to the survivors, we pray that they will find strength, comfort, and a new lease on life. Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong support of the Guyana Development Bank Bill number 5 of 2026 and commend this historic piece of legislation to this Honorable House. Today we are not merely debating the creation of another financial institution. We are debating the creation of opportunity. We are debating the empowerment of ordinary Guyanese. We are debating the removal of barriers that have for generations prevented hard-working Guyanese from accessing the financing necessary to transform their ideas into successful enterprises. At its core, this bill is about economic inclusion, entrepreneurship, productivity, and national development. For decades, one of the greatest challenges confronting small and medium-sized enterprises in Guyana has been access to affordable finance. Across our country, there are farmers, manufacturers, agro-processors, tourism operators, artisans, innovators, young entrepreneurs, women-led enterprises, and small business owners who possess the vision, determination, and skills to succeed. But lack one critical ingredient: access to capital. Mr. Speaker, the government of Guyana recognized this challenge long ago and has consistently implemented measures to remove barriers to financing and expand economic opportunities for our people. One of the most significant reforms was the passage of the Security Interest in Movable Property Act 2024. Prior to this legislation, access to credit was often dependent upon ownership of land or real property. Many hard-working Guyanese with viable businesses and productive assets were effectively excluded from the formal financial system because they could not provide traditional forms of collateral. The Security Interest in Movable Property Act transformed that reality, created a modern legal framework that allows persons to use movable assets as collateral for financing. As a result, a farmer may utilize a tractor, truck, livestock, or agricultural equipment. A tourism operator may utilize a boat or tourism asset. An agro-processor may utilize crops, equipment, or receivables. The effect of that legislation was to democratize access to credit and unlock productive assets that were previously underutilized within our economy. Mr. Speaker, through several initiatives through the Small Business Bureau, we have yielded positive results and have assisted thousands of Guyanese entrepreneurs. However, the rapid expansion of our economy, the emergence of new business opportunities, and the growing entrepreneurial spirit of our people have created an even greater demand for accessible and affordable financing. The government has listened. We have listened to the young entrepreneur with a promising business idea but no collateral. We've listened to the woman seeking to expand her small businesses and the farmer seeking to increase production. We've listened to the tourism operators seeking to improve facilities and services. This bill is our response. Mr. Speaker, this bill is about investing in people, especially in the context of the national conversation on the development of Guyana's creative sector. It is unlocking the productive potential that exists in every village, every community, and every region of Guyana. It is about giving ordinary Guyanese the opportunity to become business owners, employers, innovators, and drivers of economic growth. The establishment of the Guyana Development Bank presents another significant step in fulfilling the government's commitment to entrepreneurship, private sector development, and inclusive prosperity. It is the fulfillment of a promise to create opportunities for our people and ensure that every Guyanese has a fair chance to participate in and benefit from our country's unprecedented growth. For these reasons, I wholeheartedly support the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026 and urge all honorable members of this House to do the same. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister Susan Rodriguez. I now call on the Honorable Member, Mr. Dexter Todd, Dr. Dexter Todd. The Honorable Member, Mr. Psycho Andrews. Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Maubert Anil Nandlang.
To lend my support to the Guyana Development Bank bill, and I wish to adopt, sir, all the sentiments expressed by my honorable members. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable AG. Honorable Senior Minister, Dr. Ashni Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I rise, sir, very simply to thank my colleagues on this side of the House who spoke, notwithstanding the prevailing circumstances in this honorable House, who spoke, sir, passionately in favor of the Guyana Development Bank Bill, recognizing, no doubt, sir, how important this bill is and how important the development bank which it seeks to establish will be to improving access to financing, particularly for those who are most vulnerable amongst our entrepreneurial community. What this bill seeks to do, sir, and will do upon its enactment, is to facilitate our smallest and most vulnerable businesses being able to access financing for good business opportunities. Unlocking, therefore, Mr. Speaker, unlocking, therefore, a wave of entrepreneurial activities that will serve not only to contribute to our broad-based economic growth and sustaining the strong broad-based economic growth that we've been enjoying in this country, but very importantly, improving the lives and livelihoods of small entrepreneurs across the length and breadth of Guyana. And I want to express my regret that my colleagues on the opposite side of the House did not see it appropriate to add any words of support for this bill. But that notwithstanding, Mr. Speaker, I thank my colleagues on this side of the House for their support to the bill, and I now move, Mr. Speaker, that the bill be read a second time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, I now put the question that the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026, be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read the second time.
Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026.
Honorable members, the House will now resolve itself into committee to consider the clauses of the bill. The House is now in committee. Honorable members, the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026, has 34 clauses. And I propose the question that clauses 1 to 34 stand part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 1 to 34 stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clauses 1 to 34 now stands part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put a question that the bill be reported to the Assembly. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the Assembly resume. Honorable Senior Minister in the Office of the President with responsibility for finance. Check the other mic.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to report that the Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026, was considered in committee clause by clause and was passed without amendment. And I now move, Mr. Speaker, that the bill be read the third time and be passed as printed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, I now put the question that the Guyana Development Bank Bill, Bill number 5 of 2026, be read a third time and pass as printed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read the third time.
Guyana Development Bank Bill 2026, Bill number 5 of 2026.
We now move on to the next bill on our order paper, the Sexual Offences Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 6 of 2026. Published on the 29th of May 2026. Honorable Minister of Human Services and Social Security.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Permit me to extend my heartfelt condolences to every family that would have been affected by the
Honorable Minister, you may have to speak directly into the mic. Closer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Permit me to extend my heartfelt and sincere condolences to every family affected by the devastating MV Burima tragedy. My heart and my prayers go out to every family member who would have lost a loved one and to those still grieving and mourning. Our nation is heartbroken by this tragedy, and I join with everyone across our nation to offer prayers at this time, in this dark, difficult time, especially for those who are still looking for their loved ones and have not found them. We continue to offer comfort and sympathy to all those who would have been affected during this dark, difficult time as a nation, as we grapple with grief, and we continue to stand with those families in this very, very terrible and dark time. Mr. Speaker, I rise today to speak on the Sexual Offences Amendment Bill It's a pivotal piece of legislation and a moral and legal obligation to protect the most vulnerable in our society. It is the amendment of a 2010 bill that was brought to this House, and at that time was a very necessary progressive piece of legislation that provided protection to the most vulnerable who experience sexual offenses, especially adults and children. However, at this time, we would have definitely reviewed the bill and noted a number of gaps and inadequacy. And it is time to move this piece of legislation to close those gaps and inadequacy, and to close them with robust, modern, and uncompromising measures. To get to this point, there would have been national consultation. These amendments are not products of isolation, but it's a nationwide gap analysis and consultation process that would have involved the Ministries of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance, the Ministry of Legal Affairs, and the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security. And these amendments have been brought together in this piece of legislation after more than a year of scrutiny, which involved consultations of constitutional and rights commissions, including Women and Gender Equality Commission, Rights of the Child Commission, legal and judicial stakeholders, civil society and NGOs, including Blossom Childlink, Guyana Relief Council, faith-based and community organizations, indigenous and regional leadership, discipline and public service. The formal gap analysis and the current construct of the bill would have been led by Dr. Kim Kite-Thomas, now a sitting judge. But, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that these amendments are very key to the Sexual Offences 2010 bill, and it would have revolved around modernizing definitions and terminology, looking at digital evidence and victim privacy, moving with modern technology. And it is for the protection of the vulnerable adults and children, in addition to oral evidence, moving to visual and digital evidence, looking at accountability when it comes to reporting, especially looking at the processes of healthcare workers and police, and also looking at a national sexual offenses task force and making sure that there is the introduction of the sexual offenses databases. Mr. Speaker, with this in mind, I believe because of the differences in opinions, different perspectives and opinions, that this bill should, like the 2010 bill, be taken to the special select committee so that it can benefit from more scrutiny, more discussion, and more intervention from every member across this National Assembly. And this has been proposed and agreed to, and it is our desire to invoke the clause number 58 of our standing orders to take this bill to the special select committee. Mr. Speaker, as I stand here and I share this on the sexual offenses bill, once again I want to reiterate my
Honorable members Primus and Natasha,
and my
please,
deepest sympathy
again,
to every family,
your verbal approach of the
every
minister.
person across our beautiful land who continues to pray and offer their sympathy and condolences to those affected by the MV Burima tragedy. Mr. Speaker, I ask that this bill be taken to the Special Select Committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The bill, Sexual Offences Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 6 of 2026, is going to be sent to a special select committee. Honorable members, let me turn your attention to the second reading of the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026, be now read a second time. This bill seeks to clarify and strengthen the administration of justice in matters arising under the Act. The amendment before this Honorable House is straightforward, practical, and necessary. Its primary purpose is to remove ambiguity in Section 32 of the Principal Act by expressly providing that any claim or other proceeding arising out of the Hire Purchase Act may be instituted in either the High Court or a magistrate's court, irrespective of the monetary value of the claim. Under the current framework, uncertainty also exists regarding the applicability of monetary limitations contained in the Summary Jurisdiction Petty Debt Act and other summary jurisdiction legislation to proceedings brought under the Hire Purchase Act. This uncertainty has the potential to create unnecessary procedural obstacles, delays, and inconsistencies in the administration of matters affecting consumers, businesses, and financial institutions. This amendment therefore provides much-needed clarity and certainty. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, the amendment is intended to improve accessibility and convenience for parties involved in hire purchase, credit sales, and conditional sales agreements. It allows proceedings to be filed in either the High Court or the Magistrates' Court where it is practical and appropriate to do so, including in locations where the parties reside or conduct business. This is a sensible and people-centered approach. For many citizens and small businesses, access to justice is not only about legal rights, but also about practicality, affordability, and proximity. Allowing matters to be heard in courts closer to the parties involved reduces unnecessary hardship, lowers costs, and promotes more efficient resolution of disputes. Mr. Speaker, hire purchase, conditional sale, and credit sale arrangements continue to play an important role in commercial activity and consumer financing in Guyana. As such, it is important that the legal framework governing these arrangements remain clear, efficient, and responsive to the realities faced by both businesses and consumers. This amendment supports those objectives by eliminating uncertainty, improving procedural efficiency, and enhancing access to justice for all parties operating under the Act. It is therefore a practical and necessary amendment which will contribute to a more effective and accessible legal framework for matters and disputes arising under the Act. I therefore commend this bill to the House and ask for its full support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. There any other contributions? There being no other contributions, I now re-invite the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce to close.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to report that the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, was considered
Thank you. That would have been your response to the rest, but honorable members, I now put a question that the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, be read the second time. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read the second time.
Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026.
Honorable members, the House will resolve itself into committee to consider the clauses of the bill. Honorable members, the House is now in committee. Honorable members, the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, has two clauses, and I propose the question that clauses 1 and 2 form part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that clauses 1 and 2 form part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that the bill be reported to the committee. Those in favor, to the House. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Let the assembly resume. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to report that the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, was considered in committee clause by clause and was passed without amendment. I move that the bill be now read the third time and passed as printed.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I put the question that the Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026, be read a third time and pass as printed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read the third time.
Hire Purchase Amendment Bill 2026, Bill number 7 of 2026.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister, for taking us through your bill. I now move, honorable members, we will now proceed with the second reading of the Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill, Bill number 8 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026. Bill first published on the 29th of May 2026. Honorable Attorney General.
Sir, I rise to move that the Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill of 2026, Bill number 8 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026, be now read a second time. Mr. Speaker, this is an important bill. It is intended, Mr. Speaker, to permit the sale of properties that are held when investigations are ongoing in criminal proceedings or when properties are forfeited or detained while criminal proceedings are pending, and for those properties to be sold and for the proceeds of the properties to be deposited in an interest-bearing account so that when the litigation is concluded, the owner of that property can either recover the proceeds of that sale, or in the event that the state is to get those proceeds, then the state will recover the monies. This situation this bill is intended to address the anomaly that we see in all our police stations and many public places where vehicles that are the subject of litigation, especially in criminal proceedings, are allowed to perish and to rot and decay while those proceedings are ongoing. And when those proceedings are concluded, if it is concluded in the way that it was found that the property was held wrongfully, then the state normally has to pay millions of dollars in compensation for the destruction done to the property. This bill, Mr. Speaker, will allow for an application to be made under certain regulated grounds to a judge of the High Court, and the judge will determine whether the judge will put up the property for sale while the proceedings are pending. And once the judge makes that decision, the proceeds of the sale will be deposited in an interest-bearing account, and once the matter is concluded, depending upon the conclusion of the legal proceedings, the proceeds will go to that person or entity. Mr. Speaker, this is an important legislative intervention, and it has cured a lacuna that has existed in our laws for a very, very long time. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, it is a regional legislation being drafted by the regional security system, and will be implemented in every member state of the CARICOM region, beginning with member states who are members of the regional security system. Mr. Speaker, this is a good bill and is a timely intervention, and I ask that the bill be passed as printed. Well,
thank you, Honorable Attorney General. Honorable members, I now put a question that the Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill, Bill number 8 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026, be read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Let the bill be read a second time.
Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill, Bill number 8 of 2026.
Honorable members, the House will resolve itself into committee to consider the clauses of the bill. Honorable members, the House is in committee. The Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill, Bill number 8 of 2026, has 21 clauses and scheduled forms. And I propose the question that clauses 1 to 21 and the scheduled forms form part of the bill. Honorable members, I now put the question that clauses 1 to 21 and the scheduled forms form part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. I now propose the question that the bill be reported to the Assembly. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the Assembly resume. Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to report that the Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill 2026, Bill number 8 of 2026, was considered in committee clause by clause and was passed without amendments. I therefore move that the bill be now read the third time and passed as printed. Thank you.
Honorable members, I put the question that the Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill 2026, Bill number 8 of 2026, be read a third time and pass as printed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read a third time.
Depreciating Property Sale Order Bill, Bill number 8 of 2026.
Honorable Attorney General, are you proceeding with the security bill? Sorry, that was the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, you may now proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, published on the 29th of May 2026, be now read a second time. This bill seeks to amend the Security Interest in Movable Property Act 2024 to address practical and operational issues that arose during the implementation of this important legislation. The Principal Act established a modern legal framework for the registration of security interests in movable property and provided for an electronic registry to be maintained by the Commercial Registry. This was an important step toward modernizing commercial transactions in Guyana, improving access to credit, and strengthening certainty and transparency in secured lending arrangements. Mr. Speaker, the intent of the Act was always clear: to create an efficient, reliable, and modern registration system that would support businesses, financial institutions, and investors across our economy. However, during the implementation phase, technical difficulties affected the operation of the electronic registry for a period of time. As a result, the Commercial Registry continued to accept and process registrations manually in a manner substantially similar to the systems previously utilized under the repealed legislation, including the Bill of Sale Act. Clause 3 of the bill amends Section 45 of the Principal Act to expressly provide for non-electronic registration where electronic registration is not possible for any reason. This amendment introduces necessary flexibility and ensures that the functioning of the registry is not brought to a halt due to technical interruptions or operational challenges. Importantly, Mr. Speaker, these actions were taken in good faith to ensure continuity of commercial activity, avoid disruption to financing arrangements, and protect the interests of businesses and persons seeking to perfect their security interests. This amendment bill therefore seeks to regularize and validate those actions. Clause 4 seeks to amend Section 94 of the Principal Act to extend the transitional period by an additional 4 months. This is intended to accommodate prior security interests created under repealed laws that continue to be submitted for registration after the original transitional period had expired. Mr. Speaker, this extension is both practical and fair. It ensures that persons who acted in reliance on the registry's processes are not prejudiced due to circumstances beyond their control. Both of the amendments are retrospective from the commencement of the Principal Act. Clause 5 is particularly important as it validates all registrations, acts, procedures, and related administrative actions undertaken during the periods in question, including the collection of fees and all acts done by officers and supporting personnel in connection with those registrations. Without this validating provision, uncertainty could arise regarding the legal standing and enforceability of security interests registered during that period. Such uncertainty could negatively affect lenders, borrowers, businesses, and the wider commercial environment. Clause 6 provides protection against legal proceedings in relation to acts or omissions validated by this bill. This is necessary to safeguard public officers and other persons who acted lawfully, responsibly, and in good faith, while ensuring continuity of service during the operational challenges experienced. Mr. Speaker, this bill is fundamentally about legal certainty, continuity, and confidence in our commercial framework. It ensures that the implementation challenges experienced during the transition to a modern electronic system do not undermine legitimate commercial transactions or negatively impact stakeholders who relied on the registry's processes. At the same time, it reinforces the government's commitment to modernizing Guyana's commercial infrastructure, strengthening ease of doing business, and creating a more efficient and secure environment for investment and economic growth. I therefore commend this bill to this Honorable House and ask for its full support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. Are there any other contributors to this bill? There being none, honorable members, I now put the question that the Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, be read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read a second time.
Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026.
Honorable members, we will now resolve into committee to consider the clauses of the bill. Honorable members, we are in committee. The Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, has 6 clauses. And I propose the question that clauses 1 to 6 form part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 1 to 6 now form part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I now put a question that the Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, be reported to the Assembly. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the Assembly resume. Honorable Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce.
Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that the Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, was considered in committee clause by clause and was passed without amendment. I move that the bill be now read the third time and passed as printed.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put a question that the Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026, be read a third time and passed as printed. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Let the bill be read a third time.
Security Interest in Movable Property Amendment and Validation Bill 2026, Bill number 9 of 2026.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I ask that we adjourn the House of Assembly to a date and time to be fixed.
Honorable members, the Assembly is now adjourned to a date and time to be fixed.